Hello dear students, it's time for social science class and we have started with the chapter The Earth, Our Habitat. I hope whatever things we have studied till now, it is clear to you because now we will be moving ahead with the last part of this chapter. After this, we just have exercises left. So let's start with Uttarayan and Dakshinayan. These are basically Sanskrit words which are made up of combining two words, Uttar plus Ayan and Dakshin plus Ayan. Now you must have learnt in Hindi that Uttar means north and Dakshin means south, and Ayan means movement or towards. So in Uttarayan, what happens is it basically means movement towards north. So what happens is the rays of the sun start falling towards north of the equator. Because of the rotation and revolution of the earth, we know that the earth, all the faces do not get the same heat equally. So when the rays of the sun start moving towards north of the equator after the winter solstice on 22nd December, the Uttarayan starts. And we celebrate Uttarayan also on 14th of January. During 14th of January, the sun enters the Makar Rashi. Makar is one of the Rashis or the 12 Rashis that we have. So that's why it is called Makar Sankranti. Then Dakshinayan. From 22nd December to 21st June, the sun rays are falling towards north of the equator or directly on the Tropic of Cancer, if we say. After that, on 22nd June, from 22nd June, the direct rays of the sun shift from Tropic of Cancer to the south of the equator. So that is called Dakshinayan. Dakshinayan, where the sun rays are falling on the southern hemisphere. So basically, Uttarayan is northern solstice or winter solstice, and it's from 22nd December, and Dakshinayan, where it is summer solstice or southern solstice, and it is on 21st June. Now students, sometimes we may find that it is 21st June or 22nd June, 22nd December or 23rd December. These things, these shift of dates happens due to leap year, so you do not have to get worried about it. Now after the solstices or the Uttarayan and Dakshinayan, let's start with equinox. We have studied this, but let's revise this in detail. Equinox means it comes from Latin word which means equal nights. So what happens during equinox is the sun rays fall directly over the equator, and as a result, the days and nights are equal in duration. That is, both of them have 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night. So this thing happens twice in a year. So where the sun and the equator intersect each other. This intersection, when the sun rays are falling directly on the equator, it is called equinox. Let's see the previous diagram again. Let's start with spring equinox, that is 20th March. That time the sun's rays are, that Uttarayan is going on. This movement of the sun towards northern hemisphere is going on. So when spring equinox happens on 20th March, the days and nights are equal. But after that, the duration of the day keeps on increasing and we get summer solstice 21st June when we have the longest day. After that, after getting the longest day, Dakshinayan starts. So the duration of the day starts decreasing and we get the autumn equinox on 23rd September, where the sun rays, the duration of the day and duration of the night are again equal. But after reaching that point, there is daylight reduces, it keeps on decreasing. So we reach at 22nd December where we have winter solstice and we experience the shortest day. So we know about winter solstice, the shortest day, summer solstice, the longest day, and the equinoxes, which happen twice a year because the sun rays fall directly on the equator. And in short, when the days and nights are equal due to the falling of sun rays directly on the equator, it is called equinox. So let's just revise this one last time. During June solstice, when we have the longest day or the Dakshinayan starts, equator has 12 hours of day, but all the other regions have 13 and a half hours, 15 hours, 24 hours, which are comparatively more. So if we say that the region near Tropic of Cancer has 13 and a half hours of day, so it will have 10 and a half hours of night, and the region around 40-degree latitude has 15 hours of day, and the Arctic Circle has 24 hours, or the North Pole has 24 hours of day, or 6 months of summer. Same way, let's see the December solstice, where we have the shortest day. December solstice happens to be on 22nd December when we have the shortest day and the longest night. Let's see the situation in the northern hemisphere. At equator there are 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night, but at Tropic of Cancer there are 10 and a half hours of day, and in the southern hemisphere things will be reversed. And what happens during equinox? Sun rays are falling directly over equator. Hence, all the regions will have 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night. I hope this is clear to you all. Next, we will study about leap year. Now, students, the exact amount of time for the revolution of the Earth around Sun is 365 days and 6 hours. So 6 hours makes up 25% of the whole day. So 1 year is equal to 365.25 days. But we know that it's not easy to calculate 1/4 of the day. So as a result, we keep 1 year, one standard year of 365 days. But to make up the loss of that 25%, we keep on adding it. So we add 6 hours from first year, 6 hours from second year, 6 hours from third year, and 6 hours from the actual fourth year. They all combine and make up 1 day, and that year, which has that one extra day, is called leap year, where we have 366 days combining the previous 6 hours of each year. So when every 4 years that 6 hours from each year are added, one extra day is there in leap year, which is February 29th. Eclipse. Now students, we have studied this in detail during last year, but let's just brush up the knowledge that we have. We know that sun is a self-illuminated bright star, and we get the light from sun during daytime, and at night the moon shines bright in the sky. But moon does not have its own light, but it is illuminated by the light of the moon, of the sun. So what happens, like sometimes when the moon comes in between sun and earth, the light of the sun is obstructed, or when the earth comes in between sun and moon, the moon does not get the light of the sun, so it cannot be seen. Hence, as a result, when the sun or moon are totally or partially hidden, that event is called an eclipse. Let's start with solar eclipse. Now we know the days, like we can know that it is day when the sun is shining bright. So when during daytime, when the moon while revolving around earth, when it comes in between sun and earth, some part of the sun gets hidden. Now sun is very big and moon is comparatively smaller, so the all the everyone are not able to see solar eclipse, but still some part gets hidden where some regions experience solar eclipse. Now solar eclipse happens on a no moon day. No moon day, we know that it is Amavas. So solar eclipse happens on the day of no moon, but that does not mean that every no moon day we will experience solar eclipse. After that, let's see lunar eclipse. Now from earth we can see the moon when moon gets the light from the sun. But though moon is revolving around earth, sometimes it happens that the position of the earth comes in between moon and the sun. So the rays of the sun are unable to fall on the moon. Hence the moon gets hidden, or either partially or completely. But as the moon is smaller, all the region which can see the moon can see the lunar eclipse. And this lunar eclipse happens to be on a full moon night. But it does not mean that every full moon night or Purnima will experience lunar eclipse. So that was all about chapter 9, The Earth Are Habited. We got to know some new information and we revised something that we already know. But I hope all the concepts of this chapter are clear to you. We'll start with the exercises in the next class, which is going to be a live class. And students, as we used to do during classrooms, that after finishing the chapter, you guys had to try to solve the objective answers, the short word answers by yourself. And we'll try to do the same thing in the next class. It is going to be a live class, so I'll be asking you questions as well. Don't worry if you have doubt. I will try to solve all of them during that live classes, and we will continue with the exercises. So that's it for today. Revise the videos that I have sent, and you can go through all the 4 videos of this chapter one by one, so that your knowledge will be increased. In case you have missed something while watching the video first time, you will be able to grasp it when you watch it the next time. So that's it for today. There's nothing more to be done. Just go through the videos. Make sure whichever doubts you have, you can note that down and even try to solve the objective answers. That's your homework for today. After that, you can just enjoy your day. Bye.